That's Pierre de Canard.
Pierre de Canard.
Pierre de Canard.
Yeah, like
Pierre. Leg of a duck.
Okay. Yep. And so we can do this kind of crossover move, and then again get into the duck steps and
if you want to
switch that way to make us. Okay. So you want to talk about?
Yeah. So there's a few other things I want to throw out there. That's kind of general knowledge to put in with all these different types of steps. One is the thought of our boot, my boot right here. It sometimes I think of it as almost like a ski, and I have two edges on my boot. All right, the newer boots have sharper edges. A little more used boots have a little more rounded edges. All right, we can definitely use those to our advantage in this kind of sloppy mush, but also on kind of the wind-blown, kind of harder snow that maybe you're only getting 2/3 of your boot into. And so with that, I'm talking about kind of sliding in and thinking about cutting through the snow with this edge. And then as I'm going to step onto that, I'm actually going to think about weighting my pinky toe a little bit more than my big toe. All right, these are just a few little techniques that can help us get a little more stable with the different types of snow conditions that we're using. Does that make sense to you guys? Kind of weighting to the inside. And right there, I'm kind of weighting my big toe a little bit more. And I'm kind of cutting in. And this would be a lot more applicable not in this kind of slushy snow. Okay. So thinking about using the edges of our boots.
Crampons too?
What's that?
Boots with crampons too, the same technique?
Not so much. With the crampons, we're not going to be sliding them in, because that doesn't work so good with crampons. It's definitely going to be a little more of a deliberately placed step with those crampons, right? Because yeah, you can't really slide those puppies in there. My next thought was going back to that French technique. Kind of the cool thing about it is getting all 10 or 12 of those crampon points onto the snow or the ice at the same time, which means we want to not meet the snow like this with a flat foot, but we want to actually roll our ankle downhill a little bit, and we want to meet the snow with a flat foot, as opposed to angled up a little bit like that. So all 12 are going to hit at the same time here. I'm going to weight them, and then I'm going to do the same thing right there, and I'm going to be rolling my ankles downhill a little bit so that hopefully all those crampons are hitting at the same time. You can imagine on a really steep slope, if these are the two sides of my crampons, if just this one gets in the slope, it'll have a tendency to kind of pop that ice or pop that snow out. And that's why we bend it a little bit, plug them in, and it's going to hang on to it a lot better.